Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. As the saying goes, the scheme is fair, but the stock isn't there. It's that simple. I mean, we don't have the stock of housing. And even if we were to start to build it, it would be probably 10 years before we'd even get to that. And by the time we get to that 10 years, we'd have a serious amount of people on our books still. However, I was up in Teresa's Gardens the other day. I was down in O'Devany Gardens recently. And as I say, when you see the amount of houses that are boarded up, that are not going to be rejuvenated, that are not going to be given the dream, why are we not reopening these places, and why are we not setting up schemes whereby they can be refurbished and families can be put in them? I mean, surely it's not rocket science. There are quite a substantial amount of stock out there. You walk down Townsend Street, Lord Mayor, and there is 4 blocks blocked up belonging to the City Council. So there's a huge stock out there. Not too long ago, as I say, €100 million was spent on demolishing Limerick, and not very much is being built. So it's a huge issue here. In the 60s, when they had the same housing crisis, they were quick to occupy, blocks of flats and so on and so forth. When they were pulling down the Georgian quarters in Hume Street, they were quick to occupy the Hume Street to save George in Dublin. And here we are in a situation where we've got people on our streets, we've got people crammed into boxes. I bet families, literally, like some of them in their 60s, and some of them as young as 16 with children, crammed into families, stacked high in rooms where you can hardly breathe. And even though these places are not damp, there's very little room to manoeuvre, so that it's a catastrophe. Everybody's quite right. I think we should have an emergency meeting in relation to the housing crisis. We can't just keep screaming at the officials. The money doesn't seem to be there. Yet the situation has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And my problem is that the impact that this is going to have on the staff of Dublin City Council at the allocations and housing section is huge. If you go down there and you sit in that room, and I've done it on many days, you can see the tempers boiling. You can see people not being able to cope with it. I have, as I say, people who are threatening to kill themselves rather than be on the waiting list. This is what they're at. So I think we have a very, very serious problem here. I think it's a fair scheme. I think we should, promote the scheme. At least it's transparent. People can see themselves. We're not relying on worst-case scenarios to be put onto the list. So it's good in that respect. I think, the over-reliance on approved bodies, again, is not going to yield us the kind of housing stock that we're looking for. We need to impress upon the Minister, Jan O'Sullivan, that this is a real serious issue, and we cannot delay it. We cannot bury our head in the sand. This is as catastrophic as the weather issue, and we need to actually deal with it. And it's right across the board. This affects working class, middle class. It affects immigrants. It affects the migrants. It is having a catastrophic effect on communities, and we need to deal with it. Thank you.